Welcome to Revit 2019 Demo 2. We're going to get started by opening our past project of Revit 2019 Demo 1. We're going to go to the Architecture tab and place doors in this project. We're going to learn all about doors. You'll notice as I select doors, I have a single flush door here with a bunch of different types. Up top, I want to load a different door type because single flush doors are not the only doors I'm going to want for my project. As I load a family, you'll notice that it defaults to the US Imperial Family Library. I'm going to select the Doors folder, Residential Doors. I'm going to double click that. Now what I want is a door exterior single entry half arc glass wood clad. That's this guy right here. I'm going to open that door and I'm going to select the 32 by 96, which is here, and the 36 by 96, which is located here, and I'm going to load them in. You'll notice that I now have those two values of doors. So I want to actually load some other doors in the project because that's not the only door that I want. So let's go ahead and grab a door garage embossed panel. So we're going to go door garage embossed panel, and I'm going to load that. You'll notice on this door nothing popped up for the type catalog. That's because a type catalog is not associated to this family, but it is located on the last family. So I actually want to load another door in, and we want to grab an interior closet door. This is going to be a door interior double sliding 2 panel wood. So I'm going to open that. This is the type catalog that pops up with the family name. So you'll notice the family name is door interior double sliding 2 panel wood. And there's a series of types that are associated through the catalog. I want the 48 by 80, which is this one, and the 72 by 80, which is this one. I'm holding down the control key and selecting multiple types. So I'm going to hit OK. Those are going to load into my project from that catalog. And we want to load one last door of a door exterior double full glass wood clad, which is going to be this one. It's a nice elegant door. And we're going to open up a 60 by 96, which is right here, and a 72 by 96, which is here. So holding down the control key. I could load in all of these. The reason you don't want to do that is there's probably some sizes in here that you don't want to use. So you want to make sure that as you're loading these in, you're only loading the ones that you think you're going to use for the particular project that you're on. So I'm going to hit OK. Those doors are going to get loaded in. Each of these door types are called a family. So when I go into door, each one of these is considered a type of the family. Door exterior single entry half arc glass wood clad is the family name, and these are the types associated to that family. Same thing for this family. There's a series of types associated to it. It just does not contain a type catalog. We'll go over type catalogs later in the class. You'll notice that each family has a set of pre-selected sizes attached to the door type. You can set your own sizes at any time or modify the sizes that were pre-selected. So we're going to now try the selector and notice that each family has some size choices. Some you were able to pick out of the type catalog and some just came in with the family. Again, you can make your own sizes at any time. That's why we've selected those at this particular time. So we're going to get started with a nice front door. We're going to select the door exterior single entry half arc glass wood clad that is 36 by 96. So I'm going to look for that exterior door, which is this 36 by 96. And I'm going to put the door into the front wall near the garage. And I'm going to place it like that. Note that the dimensions above or below in this particular case are in blue. Those are the temporary dimensions. We want to make it 2'6" from the left wall, which we got lucky at placing this one. It's automatically at 2'6", but if I wanted this at 3'6", I can adjust that. We'll go ahead and put it back at 2'6". I'm going to go ahead and flip the door so that it looks and feels just like a normal entry door to a residence. So we're going to kind of get that to look correct. So I flipped that back. So we switched the swing of the door as well. So this adjusts which way the door is swinging, left or right, forward or inside. And the door is not currently tagged. So the reason why the door is not tagged is we didn't select tag on placement. If I were to select tag on placement and to place another door, you'll notice that as I place doors along this wall, it's going to tag each number subsequently as the next door of the type mark. So within the family itself, if I edit the type and scroll down, you'll notice that this is type mark number 9. That is not number 9 that's being reported here. So we're going to figure out why that is. That's incrementally tagging from the door mark. So looking at the properties right here, this particular example is using the mark. Some families will use the mark value, other families will use the type mark value. It's all dependent upon how the tag is created. And we'll get into that later, but I wanted you to see that you could place a door without a tag and place a door with a tag. So we're going to go ahead and just left to right highlight this box. You'll notice that it only selects what's contained within the box. If I select from the lower right to the upper left, it's going to select all of those. I want to select from top left to bottom right, or if I did bottom left to top right, it would function the same way, basically left to right. Only selects what's contained within the box. If I select from right to left, either way, it's going to select whatever the box crosses and touches. So now we're going to add 2 garage doors. We're going to add a door garage embossed panel, 96 by 84. So I'm going to select door, scroll down to 96 by 84. I'm going to place one door like this and one door like this. Notice that it's still placing those tags. I can delete those tags. It will not affect the mark that's associated to it. That's maintained, but it does incrementally place those tags. So I'm going to flip this door to fit, and I can flip it back and forth as I see fit. And that's just something important to note. Just get those doors on the walls and we will adjust them later. So we went ahead and placed them and hit escape twice. And once we've done that, we'll pass over the garage doors, and you'll notice that you'll see a description of the door as I highlight it. So doors, door garage embossed panel, and then I can select it and it'll pull up in the properties panel. So I've shown you how to flip the doors. That's just simply by left clicking on the garage door and noticing the temporary dimensions. Changing the left dimension to some random size like 7 feet is something we're going to want to do first. And then we can change the right door to the same distance from the right. So we'll set this one to 7 feet. So I've set those values in there. And now what we want to do is we want to add an interior wall. So we're going to go back to wall, architectural interior. You'll find an interior 5-inch partition 2-hour. And we're going to go ahead and place that somewhere along this wall. You can do it from the midpoint or just about a third in, wherever you would like to start. And we'll go ahead and just draw that. So now that interior wall is in there. It's important to understand that the wall is being put vertical somewhere in the middle. So we're drawing it horizontally across, but it's being put in vertical somewhere inside of this model. So when I hit 3D and view this in 3D, I can now see that my garage doors are placed, my front door is placed, and I have that wall in there. So we're going to adjust the wall 15 feet from the right side. If I select this, you'll notice that a dimension shows up here in the 3D view. I can do that within the 3D view if I would like, but it's probably best to do that from the level just to ensure that you've got it correct. Now, if you recall in the previous demo, we dimensioned from the exterior wall to the center line, or the exterior of the wall to the exterior of the wall. I would like you to dimension from the exterior of this wall to the center line and then adjust that physical dimension rather than the temporary dimension. We'll go ahead and delete that out. It's locked in at 15, but it can move if I drag it. So we're going to hit escape twice to exit that command. The wall's functions can be changed after placement, so don't worry. You can change it whether it's an interior and exterior wall. Those outside walls we created will be load-bearing, exterior 6-inch walls. So what we want to do is we want to left-click select one. You can then right-click, select all instances visible in view. We can then drop this drop-down down and select generic 6-inch. So we've chosen those. I don't see a value for an exterior 6-inch wall, so what we can do is we can edit the type of this and duplicate it and call it an exterior space dash space 6-inch wall. Actually, we don't need to say wall. We'll just say 6-inch. Exterior 6-inch. That way it's following the same naming convention. You'll notice in here there's a series of type parameters. We'll go over those in just a bit. We're going to hit OK, and we'll notice that it created the type exterior 6-inch wall. Now, one thing that's important to note is all of the selected walls have been changed to the exterior 6-inch. We want to scroll down and make sure that these are set as structural and the usage is bearing. That's important. So we've selected those walls, we've set those values, and now we actually want to change this again to an EIFS on metal stud. So now you'll notice that they're thicker walls. Now if I adjust that detail level and I change it from medium to fine, you'll notice that the thickness of the wall is shown along with different values. So that's something important to understand. Obviously, if you're in the coarse view, you're only going to see the rough representation of the wall. But if you want a more detailed view to print out, you can set it to fine to see that. You'll notice up here I have the thin lines option. This thin lines option is also TL. It'll make the line weights visible or not visible. So something that's important to know here is that these are the line weights that are going to print versus the line weights that are not going to print. So when I hit TL, the line weights will still print the same way. Those line weights will still show. It's just in this view it allows you to select without having a thicker line to select at that point. So moving forward, we're going to add an opening. So we're going to go into architecture and we're going to hit the drop down for component and we're going to place a component. Remember that you can still get the description of what everything's doing along with a visual just by highlighting on it. So we're going to place the component. We're going to hit load family. You'll notice that it initially defaults as a desk. We don't want a desk. So we're going to go up one level and and then another level, and we're going to select openings. So I'm going to select openings here. We want a passage opening cased, so I'm going to select that, and I'm going to open it. We're going to change the element type to be a 34 by 80. So notice that this had predefined sizes from the family that I'm loading in. And then I want to place this inside of this interior wall. So we're going to go ahead and just place it here for now. So we've placed it there. Now I want to show you the line weights on and off. So if I hit TL, line weights are off, but it will still print with the line weights. If I hit TL again, they're now solid. They're back to how it's going to print. It's important to notice this because if I hit TL, I can now see the trim of this door. So that helps in terms of understanding what your line weights are going to be when you print. So if you wanted to see these, this flags you to say, hey, you might want to adjust your line weights. We kind of went over a little bit briefly the fine, medium, and coarse. So just understand that these are here as well as up here, detail level, fine, medium, and coarse. We're going to go ahead and place an interior door now. So we're going to go to door. And then we want to go to single flush 30 by 80. So I'm going to find a single flush 30 by 80. It's already loaded in. And we're going to put it somewhere not in the middle of the wall. So we'll go ahead and put it up here as if there's a room up here, and we'll flip it. Notice I still have that tag on placement shown. So if I go to door, this is still blue. I can uncheck that. That way the next time I place it, it's not tagging. So I'll go ahead and delete that tag out as well as that door that I just placed. And now I want to add a French door. So I'm going to go to Architecture tab, Door, hit the drop down, hit Door Exterior, Double, Full Glass, Wood Clad, 60 by 96. Yes, I know it's an exterior door. You just want to place it on the inside. This is to show you that it knows that there's a wall. It doesn't matter what type of wall it's hosted to. It just knows that there's a wall there. You're going to make this 16 feet from the other door using temporary dimensions and witness lines. So temporary dimensions, again, you'll notice are here. And you'll notice that this opening needs to be about 16 feet away. Now that adjusts this. So if I want this at 2'6", it's going to adjust this value down from 16, but push that wall away. Now, I actually really want the center of this door and the center of this door to be exactly 16 feet apart. So I'm going to just drag this door somewhere in the middle, roughly, and associate this dimension here, once I select this door, to 16 feet. One thing that's important to note is when I have a temporary dimension, I can click on the witness lines to adjust what I'm seeing. So you'll notice as I'm clicking on that dot, it's going to adjust those values of those dimensions to get what I'm looking for. Same thing here. If I select this dot, it's going to adjust to the outside, to the other one, to this center of that door. I drew this dimension just to ensure that I had that value locked in. So I made those 16 feet away. Note that whatever door you want to move, you're going to highlight that door and then change the dimension that you want to move. The object you pick is the one that moves. So going into this, I want to make sure that my temporary dimension, or my witness line, is dragged to the center here. So notice that I just clicked and dragged this center of that temporary dimension. So I didn't have to draw a dimension. I can just draw that to the center of each door and adjust those values. So I want that to be 16 feet, and I want this one to be 8'7". So I'm able to manipulate these dimensions to rapidly adjust distances between things. So I can say I want this 10 feet away. It's going to adjust it. The reason for that is I have this door selected. I actually want this door at 8'7". So just note that whatever door is selected is the door that's going to move. So if I want this door to be 16 feet away from this door, I can type that in here. So that's logged in. We're going to check out the doors that we just placed in a 3D view. So we're going to go to View 3D. We're going to rotate around. If I type in SD, it'll go to a shaded view, and you'll notice I've got a nice door here, nice passage door, and then a single flush door. We're going to check out the model by using the orbit tool on the steering wheel. So if I place this steering wheel and then I hit orbit, I can then kind of orbit around the model to see what my doors look like in model space. Note that in medium, I'm not seeing all the trim and all the handles. That's something important to understand as well. If it's coarse, I'm not going to see all the trim. If it's medium, I'll see a little bit more. And then if it's on fine, I'll see even more if that family's equipped to do that. I'm going to hit escape. Up top, I'm going to hit view tiles, and you'll notice that I've got the level 1 view and the 3D view associated to one another. I can click this view box here. I can also go to the top view in this 3D view. It's just harder to work with than the level view. So that's important to know. And you want to know that you're going to see the drawings that have been created. Now, I also want to show you the navigation bar with the zoom tool. So navigation bar with the zoom tool would just be zoom in region. We can zoom in on that region. We can hit this drop down, hit zoom to fit. We can zoom sheet size. There is no sheet on this. Or we can zoom back into a region. So if I want to see that region, it's going to zoom and snap to that view. We're going to continue on here. We did the zoom all to fit is the next one. So zoom all to fit. It's going to adjust both views to fit. I showed you the switch windows. Actually, I have not shown you the switch windows. Up top here, I showed you the tile views. Now we're going to do switch windows so we can switch back and forth between the two. You can also do a control tab to cycle back and forth between the two. So in this lecture, you've learned to load a family, control the location of an object with temporary dimensions and witness lines, and how to rotate the 3D model. We're going to go ahead and save this as revit2019demo2. So File, Save As, Project, revit2019demo2.